Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing, and you say Phoenix weird. Hello, YouTube. I'm Unca Crunk, just your standard issue purple monster of a certain age who plays games on the internet. In the previous episode of Phoenix Wright Justice for All, we were reunited with our friend and assistant, Maya. However, the curse of Phoenix Wright struck again, and for the second time in a year, Maya has been arrested under suspicion of murder. Our investigations have uncovered some hopefully useful evidence and some much stronger suspicions. Long story short, I suspect Maya's Aunt Morgan in this murder. She has a lot to gain, and she basically runs this enclave of spirit mediums where the murder took place, so she absolutely had opportunity. Eeny Meeny also has motive, and she may be a co-conspirator since she convinced the victim to come here, but I don't think she pulled the trigger, as it were. Oh, that reminds me. We unlocked a new mechanic called Psych Lock, an actual factual, honest-to-goodness, occult method of breaking through the defenses witnesses and suspects have put up around their secrets. So that's cool. Anywho, today begins the first day of the trial of Maya Fey. June 21st, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Prosecutor Von Karma, you mean? No, I heard it's his successor this time. Successor? Manfred Von Karma was a really sinister man. He pulled all sorts of nasty tricks. Also, he could win. Up to and including murder. He was a man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record of 40 long years. Who knows what sort of dirty tricks he used to get each and every one of those guilty verdicts. And now, his successor. Wonder what kind of person they will turn out to be. It's no good. Mystic Maya! Burley! You showed up! Thanks for coming all this way! I was really worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Didn't you two come together? Mother is watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no breaks. What? Then you came all by yourself? Yep, I snuck out of the manor and followed the map. Don't tell me you walked all the way here. Of course not. I ran. I can't. Oh my, if it takes 2 hours by train. Oh man. Harley, what about the train? What's a train? I give up. It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if Von Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth? Who's that? He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend, if you know what I mean. Objection! Hey, I still remember him as though I'd seen him only yesterday. Objection! Every trial was a scorchingly fierce battle until the very end. Oh, it was so hot. Objection! Objection! It was always back and forth with them. But when you're rivals for life... Maya! Please don't mention that name ever again. Huh? But why, Nick? You two had such great sexual tension. I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot you don't know. He's gone, and he's not coming back. What? What? Exactly. What? Wait a second. What's that supposed to mean? Court will commence shortly. Please proceed into the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not the time to talk about that anyway. Nick! But come on! I want to hear about my ship! June 21st, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Are the prosecution and the defense prepared? Oh, hello. What is with this kid? Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me? Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Joe must be a little shocked because I am a woman, correct? Hold on. So she's the famed successor to Prosecutor Von Karma? I am Franziska Von Karma, the prodigy. I see. I gave up my promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Revenge? Is this about our father, Manfred von Karma? If it's something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can... Yeah! Ain't talking! If you interrupt again, my whip will do the speaking for me. Please speak with your mouth like a normal person. I beg of you. Ah! Make no mistake, I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Prosecutor Von Karma, your opening statement, please. Those of Von Karma blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant, Maya Fey, will find no escape from her guilt on my watch. Very well. What is the defense's position? Your Honor? Does the defense wish to enter a plea of not guilty? Yes. Foolish fool who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time. Justified self-defense? A plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in defense of themselves. We could very easily make a solid case for that it was self-defense, but the defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor. Because to plead justified self-defense is to say you did kill someone. Oh, foolish. If that's how you want to plead, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then I shall now call the first witness. She's just as scary as her father. Like father, like daughter, I suppose. Witness, your name and occupation. Yes, sir. My name is Dick Gumshoe. I'm a detective at the local precinct. Get to the point, lady. Explain to the court the details of this murder. Yes, sir. If everyone would please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? That's quite the look of disbelief there, Your Honor. Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. A few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. And that's when they found that the victim was already dead, correct? I believe this is one of the most open and shut cases I have ever presided over. Okay, floor plans, diagram of the channeling chamber. So, how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that. Stop wasting my time, then! The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. So the victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. All right. After being stabbed in the chest, he was shot in the forehead at point blank. The court accepts it into evidence. Mr. Wright, you may question the witness. Okay, I will be pressing on everything as per usual. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir.
Hold it!
A murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe. Whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim? Now, why would he have...
Objection!
Why would he have a pistol? Well, guess. The point that you are missing is whose fingerprints are on that pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, then I suggest you start.
Fingerprints? There were fingerprints. Along with the victims, the defendant Maya Faye's were also in the grip, sir. That's not good. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon.
Yeah.
Walked right into our hands there. The shot was fired from point-blank range.
Hold it!
Point blank, huh? So, about how far away is that? It's anywhere between 12 to 20 inches away. And how do you know he was shot at point blank?
Tisk, 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 Mr. Phoenix Wright. I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools in this foolish country.
Excuse me?
Gunpowder burn.
Gunpowder burn.
When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole.
Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. And there were definitely some gunpowder points left on the victim's forehead. Wow, never knew that. Live and learn, I guess. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest.
Hold it!
Stabbed. And what was he stabbed with? A fruit knife.
I see. And whose fruit knife was it?
It looks like it belongs to the Faye's, sir. And of course, Maya Faye's fingerprints were all over it.
All over it, huh?
This does not look good.
What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death.
Hold it!
How severe was the wound? It was so severe that the man could barely stand afterwards. Oh, wait, I thought I was trying to set up a joke. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was so severe that if it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand. This testimony makes it sound like Maya had stabbed him with the intent to kill. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing.
Hold it!
Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot? Yup, sure can be. One look at the wounds and you come to the same conclusion too, pal.
A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of other foolish fools. A pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter then which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What a pain.
That's enough. We have clearly established how the victim was murdered.
I brought the two murder weapons with me today, sir.
Very well. The court accepts them into evidence.
Okay, pistol, murder weapon was Gray's. Two shots fired? Bears Maya's and Gray's fingerprints. Knife, murder weapon, a small fruit knife belongs to the face, bears Maya's fingerprints.
The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots at this time.
And 2 murder weapons, both with the defendant's fingerprints on them, huh? This does seem like an open and shut case.
Not your lady.
This is going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now wasn't oversimplifying things to the extreme.
Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there is no room left for that, is there?
That is quite true. Mr. Wright.
Yeah?
Even in the face of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? It's the opinion of this court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose.
See, just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You will change your plea in less than 10 minutes.
What will you do, Mr. Wright? Will you change to justified self-defense? Because now would be the time to do so. This is your final chance.
Yeah, this is a huge decision. Better think this all through all the way.
Not guilty.
If we plead justified self-defense, we would basically be confessing the murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined, and she'd be labeled a murderer. I can't let that happen.
Your Honor. Have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright?
The defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of a complete acquittal.
You have sealed your fate, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective.
Yes, sir.
Present the final portion of your testimony. The final strike.
Yes, sir.
Now see here, proceedings are run by...
Yeah!
Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony.
I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence.
Sorry, pal, but, there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. As you can see, it's covered in blood. Wait a minute. There's also a hole in the sleeve. The the defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back.
So this is the costume. There certainly is evidence of a back spray of blood on this.
This piece directly links Maya fate to the crime, sir.
I see. The court accepts this into evidence.
Okay, clothes Maya was wearing at the time of the murder, there were blood spatters on it.
All right, Mr. Wright.
Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons and blood spatters on her clothes. Could this situation get any worse?
Ha! A slunk. You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing, and you say Phoenix weird. Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence.
Hold it!
Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier? You're kind of scared today, you know, pal.
Come now, Mr. Wright. There is no need for that kind of attitude in my court. All right, just please stop glaring at me like that.
This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime.
Hold it!
Maya's costume? Yeah, she was wearing this when we arrested her. Maya, she's wearing her channeling costume today, too. She's not allowed to wear anything else? Or maybe we just couldn't afford to draw her in, prison garb. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Oh, hang on. I forgot to press this.
Hold it!
This blood on the costume. Lab results show that it's the victim's blood.
So there is blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes.
Definitely not good. So, were there any other clues you could glean from this piece of evidence? Well...
Objection!
If you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad, not enough time. Let's move on.
Yes, Miss Von Karma is perfectly correct.
Now even the judge is on her side. But if I bite off more than I can chew here, then what should I do? Press further. Why is Ms. Von Karma suddenly putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an objection like that. Yep, there it is. Is the dip that's a hole. There must be something about this costume. Just have to look harder.
Mr. Wright, Ms. Von Karma's logic is perfect. There is no way for you to poke a hole in it.
Looks like my time is up. So, about the costume. Well, there is one little thing, about 0.45 inches in diameter. Your Honor. Actually, there is something very wrong with this piece of evidence.
What?
What are you talking about, pal?
Where is this problem you're talking about?
I've come this far. There's no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence is here.
Take that!
I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume.
The sleeve? There is a tiny hole here.
A hole? But that wasn't in the report.
Hold on. What's this around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder.
Gunpowder? No one ever told me.
A hole that smells of gunpowder.
It looks like I found the hole I was looking for. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole.
Order, order, order! This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record before anything else.
Vice costume updated in the court record. Press the check button for details. Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Is she actually smiling? What else is she hiding?
Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with your testimony. That just now was a fluke, nothing more.
Objection!
How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight.
While I agree it is a mistake on the part of the police, what Prosecutor Von Karma has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive problem with the evidence, then...
No way.
Detective Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony.
Yes, sir. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back.
Hold it!
He wasn't fighting back. How do you know if he wasn't or wasn't? We could find no evidence that the victim put up any sort of struggle, pal.
So, did the murderer have a fight with the victim or not? Depending on this, the circumstances around this murder change drastically.
Yeah, we're in real trouble now. If only I had something to prove that the victim did fight back. That Von Karma, she thinks she can decide the verdict with this testimony alone. Well, I'll find a critical contradiction somehow, and then I'll have her. All right. Okay, here. Okay, the close.
Objection!
Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. It's all tingly. I kind of like it. You said that my client killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to mean? What does it mean?
I'll tell you what it means.
It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back? Hey, you're right.
It seems you are correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything.
All right, the wind seems to be shifting. No, what is with that "are you finished yet" laugh?
Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Miss Von Karma?
It seems that my fee was shattered by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea.
That is correct.
But I'm sure you'll remember, Your Honor, that the defense clearly said they rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty.
Now that you...
Wait, that's right.
Which means the defense has yet to prove anything at all. No.
Well, yes, that's true.
Furthermore, Just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense.
How so?
Ah! Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course.
You mean, by myself? You want me to put together the scenario all by myself? Yeah! Yes, sir. Right away, sir. During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up on the opening and took the victim's gun and ended it.
This scenario you have put together does make sense.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
On the surface, it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily.
Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please.
During the channeling, the defendant saw a chance to stab the victim in the chest.
Hold it!
There is quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant. Add in body strength, and it seems unlikely the defendant could have stabbed the victim. Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess.
Objection!
You think you can get away with such flimsy reasoning, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Maya Fey was in the middle of channeling, but she not.
Eh?
In channeling with the Korean channeling technique, that medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily been a match for the doctor.
I don't believe it. She even studied up on the Korean channeling technique.
Like I said before, I am perfect.
About what you were talking about. I didn't quite get it. Never mind. Let's continue with the testimony.
Of course, the victim used the lack of his strength to fight back, sir. The last of his strength to fight back, sir.
Hold it!
So he was stabbed, but the stab wound didn't kill him. But if you think about the blood loss, he was probably hurt pretty bad. How badly hurt would you say he was? Actually, I went to give blood the other day, and afterward I felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. I guess the damage was maybe about 10 times the dizziness. Sorry. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun.
Hold it!
Where in the world did that pistol come from? It looks like the victim, Dr. Gray, has specifically bought it for that day. But a handgun? He got it off the black market about 2 days before the murder. Why did Dr. Gray bring a gun? Was he taking precautions against something? The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the bullet hole in this costume was made then? Sorry, pal, but yeah, that's what I think. The two of them were already fighting when the shot was fired. Maya, I'm really glad you weren't hurt. The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it.
Hold it!
Maya has never fired a gun before in her life. The victim had already taken off to safety. With the safety off, even an amateur like you can fire just by pulling the trigger. Yeah, but
Was it a double action revolver or a single action? I mean, most revolvers these days are double action, but we'll probably never find out, actually. Even me? I wonder. Now do you understand? Avon Commerce logic is perfect. His testimony certainly makes us look very bad, but there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere. And uncovering it is going to uncover the truth. I can feel it. All right, let's see. What do we have? No. Okay, that's coming into place somewhere. Wait a minute. Does that bullet hole look like it has gunpowder burns on it to you? I made a huge point about a gun fired at point blank range leaving gunpowder burns. I mean, it looks kind of singed around the edges, but that would just be from the heat of the bullet, right? Well, may as well try it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, too close. He missed. Let's try it.
Objection!
Missing the tiny hole on this costume will be the prosecution's undoing. What do you mean? This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where is the gunpowder burn on this costume? Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh! But there is not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume.
That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean?
It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other.
Objection!
I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away.
Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking.
Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that?
Objection!
As if that were even possible. According to testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that.
Well, then, that's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then, while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There, that should satisfy even you.
That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright?
I must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here. Concentrate and think. Now, something doesn't make sense. There is a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal
Flaw? There! Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation.
There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. About 8 inches off the ground. Okay, I guess we would have noticed if there was a hole in the floor right behind it, which would have happened if the shot had been angled down. So, the shot was made from close to the ground, I'm guessing. All right, let's try that.
Take that!
This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic.
What is that? A folding screen?
I would like to point the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen.
Ah!
It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Ooh, well, what?
Mr. Wright, your explanation, please.
Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means when the shot was fired, the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground.
Order! This changes everything.
Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot. And the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location about 8 inches off the ground. Oh, I see. In order for the bullet to hit that low to the ground, when it hit her, she had to have been really close to it.
Take that!
She was standing here, near the folding screen.
But wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible that the defendant was standing much closer to the victim?
That's impossible.
But why?
You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Ms. Von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, there would be gunpowder burns present. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume.
Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright! You...
I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing a ways from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation?
It changes everything. Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time? Squatting all the way by the folding screen? Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike?
Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense.
Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Oh. All right, with this, the rest of the trial should be in the... Oh, now what?
Blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now I know why Papa had such a tough time with you. You amuse me.
Of all the things to inherit,
Why did it have to be that smarmy smile? Detective! How dare you damage my perfect logic?
how is it all my fault?
You can start repairing your standing by first removing that three-strand goatee. Oh, and rest assured your punishment will come later.
But punishment?
Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it is time to call in the next witness.
Next witness? That's got to be Lotta.
Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness.
To be continued in the next episode. Do the outro. Okay, so Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons. The victim's blood on her clothes. It looks pretty bad. Even with the fact that Gray definitely shot first, we still aren't in a great position to exonerate Maya. Even if we could change our plea to self-defense, that wouldn't fly. Stabbing your attacker in the chest, sure, no problem. But then taking the attacker's gun and shooting him in the forehead? That's not self-defense, that's an execution. And it gets worse. Next up, we have Lotta Hart, the world's most unreliable witness taking the stand. Well, in the meantime, up here is a playlist of my Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc playthrough, and down here is a video that YouTube recommends. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!